vlog, great bit vlog, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so doing things a little bit differently. Got the webcam down here instead of up there, mainly because usually I do this during the night, but I've actually doing this during the day, and if I had the webcam up, you see a shadow on my forehead where the bar between the windows are, for the window which you can move and the window you can't move. Well, not move, open. But it just didn't look good, so therefore I had to rearrange, where I put the webcam at, just to make things look better in general. During the time when I've actually got a lot of light in my face, so hey, you can see me. Ooh. So yeah, what we're going to talk about today. Well, I've got a lot of stuff to catch up on because I haven't done anything on the blog for a while, so I thought, try and do everything in one shot through a single blog. So, a single blog? No, a single vlog. So how about we do this? Last week I went to a car boot sale, and I like to buy things in car boot sale. If you're outside the UK and you have no idea what a car boot sale is, it's basically what we would call a swap meet or a flea market or something like that. It's basically you go around, you get your car, you fill it with stuff, you drive to this place, you open your car boot, or I forgot what the Americans call it now, but basically it's the door at the back of the car. I've just completely forgot what the Americans call it, but we call it a car boot anyway. And the idea is that you go and sell things out of that car boot, and that's why it's called a car boot sale. Typically, throughout this year, I've actually had some decent finds in some of these car boot sales. I got myself the Binatone console that I got, which is, it's not, I wouldn't say it's the hardest thing to find, but it's not something you always see every day. And then there was that one time when I got the Resident Evil 3 that was sealed. That was pretty damn awesome. But last week's car boot sale was nothing like that at all. It was absolutely dreadful. I found two particularly nice looking items that I really wanted to get, but things went a little bit weird as people thought, hey, I'm going to try and sell this as much as they do on eBay. And yeah, this is where it gets bad. So two sales. There was one car boot that had an N64 and another car boot that had a Game Boy Color. Now granted, I already have an N64 and a Game Boy Color, but I wanted to I actually kind of wanted the Game Boy Color just because it was in really good condition, and then the N64 I really wanted it because there was some games in there that I wanted to get hold of, mainly, but let me just shorten this down a bit. Well, or make it longer. But the idea was N64 was being sold with 3 controllers and a few games, and there was Mario, Zelda, and Micro Machines, and I actually wanted the Micro Machines cart. And I went up to them and I said, how much for this? And they said 40 quid. I mean, I don't want to be mean, guys, but you can't just sell something like that for 40 quid. I mean, granted, you got 3 controllers, but you have to understand that N64 controllers really do wear out. I mean, on a system that, on a controller that actually has, an analog joystick on a very small axis is just going to grind down. And I mean, eventually that thing wears out, and you can either try to, do something with it, or go on eBay, find that dude that sells N64 analog sticks and install a new one. But I mean, I just wanted to get hold of it for the Micro Machines game and kind of donate the N64 to the Computer Museum. And yeah, I wasn't going to purchase that for 40 quid. I kind of just left it. I didn't say anything. I just walked off, because I was like, yeah, they're not going to sell it, and I highly doubt they sold it. I can't remember. I didn't. Let's just say I didn't stay at the car boot sale for very long. So when I left, it was still there. So I highly doubt they actually sold it, because I can't think of anyone who would actually go and purchase a car boot sale. Well, purchase a car boot sale, purchase an N64 at a car boot sale for 40 quid. So I went over and I went to see this lady who had the Game Boy Color. and she came, and this thing was the Game Boy Color, a case and a rechargeable battery and a copy of Mario Land. And I thought, hey, this looks like a good deal. The Game Boy Color actually is in quite nice condition, and it was a solid purple Game Boy Color. Mine is the transparent purple. So I thought, hey, I like the Game Boy. Let's get another Game Boy Color. And I picked it up, and she said, oh, okay, that's 15 quid. So I was like, okay, let's see if I can bargain this. So I saw on the side there was a few more games. There was Formula 1 on the Game Boy, but there was also Columns on the Game Gear. So I was like, okay, could you put these in for the same price? And she basically turns around and goes, no offers. And then even worse, she says something on the lines of, well, that game doesn't work on that. And I was fully aware that it was a Game Gear game. It was Columns on the Game Gear. I'm going to get to that because a good old friend of mine actually gave me a Game Gear. So I was like, wow, okay, do understand that this is a car boot sale. This kind of thing does happen. You will have people who will try to give you offers. And this lady really was the kind of person who kind of knew a lot with eBay, was going by eBay prices, hoping to get eBay prices. And this is the thing that I've got to stress with people, especially if they do this at car boot sales. The primary reason for why there is a car boot sale is because you might have a load of crap that doesn't mean anything to you, that has no sentimental value to you whatsoever, but could be something worthwhile to someone else. And just because it's worthwhile doesn't mean you're just going to have to rip them off. A car boot sale is not there as a kind of business venture into profiteering. It's nothing like that. The only way you can get away with that is if you are actually going to stand there and start selling new goods, as if you're like on a market or something. But you can't get away with that at a car boot sale. A car boot sale, you're just trying to flog off as many useless stuff that you might have laying around the house that might have some use to someone else. And this is ridiculous. I don't understand why people are going on eBay trying to compare prices, because if you want to get eBay prices and you want to sell it to someone on eBay at a ridiculous price that no one else would want to, then yeah, go on eBay. But if you're going to have a car boot sale, you've got to understand that there are offers that are going to be made, and if you can't do that, then you're in the wrong place. Simple as. You can't do that at a car boot sale. It's not worth it at all. You're not going to sell it at the end of the day, and come the next week you're not going to sell it, and the next week you're not going to sell it either. So I'm going to go to the car boot sale tomorrow, and I'm going to see if these games are still there, because it'd be really crazy if they're still, if this Game Boy and this N64 is still there, because I'll just prove my point just by doing that, and just be like, yeah, you're not selling these. What are you going to do about it? So next thing I want to get on with, there's a whole bunch of games. There's so many games coming out, it's ridiculous. Some of which I already purchased. But let me go ahead with the games I didn't get. This would be Civilization Beyond Earth. I really wanted to get hold of this. It came out yesterday. I really wanted to get hold of it, but it was 30 quid. I've seen a whole bunch of reviews kind of slating it as just being a heavily modified version of Civ 5. I was kind of expecting that to be the case anyway, and apparently the alien creatures in the game are just fodder. They don't do anything. They're not intelligent. They just go and attack. They're just wild animals in the game, essentially. So that was a bit of a shame, to be perfectly honest. But I will say I was kind of expecting this game to be just a very heavily modified version of Civ 5. And I'll probably, and I want to get it. I don't know why I was going to say probably get it. I want to get it. Though I might not get it at the price that is being asked now. And then there's Legend of Grimrock 2, which is the great revamped dungeon crawling game that's come out. The sequel came out a week ago. I really wanted to get hold of that game, kind of held off from it. And there's also Gabriel Knight's Sin of the Fathers remake that came out a few days ago. Again, didn't quite get that straight off the bat, mainly because I already have the classic game and I kind of haven't beaten it, so I really should get onto my Steam virtual machine and get Scum virtual machine. I don't know why I said Steam. Right, Scum virtual machine, and actually play that damn game. I actually have it on disc. I'll try and play that game and actually beat it, and then go and get the remake and compare the two. Next we have a little game. I was actually going to do a little bit of testing and do some reviews and stuff, which was a game called Haze Walker, which is this kind of Castlevania Symphony of the Night jobby. Well, it was inspired by Symphony of the Night, I should say. The problem was that they gave me the game, they started a Kickstarter, and then they cancelled the Kickstarter due to some kind of managerial issues. So, it was a shame that they couldn't continue with the Kickstarter. It was a pretty good game, though. The game that they actually, the demo that they gave me, which was this alpha demo, was pretty broken. There was a lot of, I was able to skip a lot of the game because you can actually exploit this wall jump in the game. So you can just keep on, let me just say it like this. There's this huge, hole, and then you're supposed to go through, go higher up. It's like a really deep well, and you're at the very bottom, and you're meant to get all the way at the top. The thing is, because there was this glitch where you could wall jump, you can just keep on jumping against the wall, and you'll eventually get to the top, which was really silly. But if you do actually play the game by the rules, you eventually just you keep traversing through these caves, which will eventually get you higher and higher until the idea is that you're supposed to turn on this switch that will activate an engine so that this mechanical lift will actually get you from the bottom to the top. And it's a pretty decent-ish looking game. I might throw a few videos or two. It's a shame that the Kickstarter got cancelled. If you're really into Castlevania games, I probably would recommend it. But yeah, it's an interesting game. It's just a shame that the Kickstarter didn't quite work the way it did. Okay, so the next thing, one of the games I wanted to get, which I did end up getting, was Alien Isolation. So this is the survival horror thriller scary game, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of sort of inspired by Amnesia, though not completely. But if you are a huge Aliens fan, or if you like, your Amnesia style horror games, then you really want to get into this, because this game is really, really good, and there's a lot of survival and stuff. It's not, it's a first-person adventure game, because it's not really much of a first-person shooter, because it does take a while until you get your first gun, and even then, when you get your first gun, the ammunition is really scarce in the game, so you can't just go around just blowing things up. But it is a super pretty game, by the way. I'm amazed how well it looks on my PC, considering that my PC isn't really the best piece of kit in the world. It's now about 4 years old. I will admit that I have actually installed several graphics cards since then, but it's running on a relatively low-end Intel i3, and it's got 6 gigs of RAM in it at the moment. So, not the best setup in the world, but it has done the job really well. And something just fell over. Moving on. Purchasing this game was really weird for me, because I actually got it from a website called G2A, and this was a website that was actually recommended to me by a few Twitch streamers. Except, I don't know how they do this, by the way, but you can get games really cheap through G2A, but my biggest gripe is that I felt like I was going into a really shady deal. Like, one, you don't even create an account or anything. The idea is that the game gets gifted to you, and it's and on the gift it was like 2xxx, and then the message was xxxxx, and then it said love from xxx, and I was kind of like, what on earth's going on here? It was like I was buying stuff from, you know, that dropped from a lorry or a truck or something. It just felt really dodgy, and I felt like I was, you know, what was even weirder was that I had to pay like £1 for insurance to make sure I actually got the price that was quoted, which makes things even weirder. I don't know if this is a practice that should be done, or if this is something that people should do. I have no idea what is actually behind this G2A thing. I hope what they're doing is actually legal. You know, if someone can actually explain it to me in the comments, that would be fantastic, because I really don't know what is going on with it, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, that was super weird, and it just felt super shady. Alright, so another game I really wanted to get, which I actually have a box for because it's not a Steam game. It is, if I can get that in the camera, there we go, Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Wii U. So this is actually my second and third, because the UK version does actually get a separate case for, I can't even get there we go. Oh, there you go. So we actually do get a second case for the first Bayonetta, whilst in the US you actually get Bayonetta 1 and 2 in the same box, which is kind of cool because it like comes in this cardboard box. I don't actually have the Bayonetta 2 box with me right now. That's actually downstairs. But yeah, it's Bayonetta. It's one of those few games that I really liked on the Xbox 360. I'm really known for slating the Xbox 360 for being, you know, how can I put it? I just didn't like the Xbox 360 eventually. Like, I got an Xbox 360. I liked what was there at the time. I really did not like Xbox Live Gold, having a gold account. And then when they started introducing all these other features, they prevented you from using them if you weren't a gold member. And they, you know, and then you know, I did get gold for a while, and I just wasn't playing online enough for it. And Microsoft was making free money out of me, and I really disliked that. And it's just crazy how you can have an Xbox, but you have to keep paying this £50 subscription in order to play online. And I just thought that was a bit of a joke, to be honest, considering that no one else does that unless you're playing an MMO like WoW, for example. And I can understand that, because you have a whole bunch of servers that you need to keep in operation. Now, Microsoft might be doing the same thing, but you have to understand that, you know, Nintendo, Sony and Valve, or the majority of PC games in general, do not use a subscription method in order to play online. So I don't understand why Microsoft has to do it. And I think that Microsoft is only doing it because they're probably, you know, not making enough money through games and hardware, and that's just the impression that I get. But going back to Bayonetta was one of the Xbox 360 games I really enjoyed. You know, it was Devil May Cry plus 9,000. I mean, it was amazing. Just to change the character from you know, a male egomaniac into a female witch. You know, she's incredibly sexy, but like, she's not Lara Croft. You know, her boobs aren't out to here, and you know, she looks normal for a woman, but is still incredibly attractive. That's the great thing about Bayonetta. But it's not just to do with the character. It's also, most of it is the gameplay. So, you know, you got this great combat system, the great combo system that you use in order to rack up points. Just everything is just full of just moments where you just have to say wow to it. And now the sequel has been released on the Wii U, and it pretty much is in similar light to you know, Civilization Beyond Earth. You know, it's pretty much more of the same thing, but now in a different setting, and you can actually you actually go from between heaven and hell, and there is this mountain, I'm trying to think of the name now, it's got a really complicated name, Vindelventer I think it's called, but it's a really nice game. I've been playing that a bit on the Wii U, and I really like it. So the next thing I want to talk about, good old friend in the US got me one of these. It's a GameGear. Hey, I've been wanting to get hold of these for a while. I love the Game Boy, and back when I was a kid, I used to have ridiculous arguments, for the Game Boy and against the GameGear. But I've grown up since then. I've started to appreciate. I appreciate more and more games, and appreciate it as a whole rather than just being a fanboy and sticking to one format. So good old Willie from the US got me a GameGear, which is absolutely awesome. He threw me a few games. He got me a power supply as well for it, because of course it drains batteries like God knows what. The only thing is that power supply is 110 volts, and over here in the UK we use a 240 volt. So I do actually have a step-down transformer to make that work, except I have no idea where it is. So I've stuck some batteries in this, but I have no idea how long they're going to last. I mean, it's probably only going to last for about 2 hours before I need to change it. But I'm going to go off and get some games off eBay, because I just realized that Game Gear games on eBay are super cheap at the moment. Like, the majority of them are at least $3 or £4. And I really want to get Pengo, because I do remember that even though when I was a kid and I was a huge Nintendo and Game Boy fanatic, I used to go to this youth club that did actually have a Game Gear, and they actually had a game called Pengo, which is like this like Pac-Man style maze game, where you're a penguin and you move ice cubes around, but you also had these enemies that were chasing after you, and you had to kick these ice cubes against these enemies. And it was just a really great like action puzzle maze game, if you want to call it that. But I'm gonna see if I can get a copy of that on eBay. I've seen a few copies. I've seen a box copy that was actually relatively affordable as well, so I might pick that up. Next on the list, Smash Brothers. Nintendo released this video that was called the 50 Great Things About Smash Brothers for Wii U. And they revealed quite a few things that, these might be incredibly last minute things, because Smash Brothers for Wii U is coming out in a few weeks' time. But one of these things is that there's going to be an 8-player mode in the game, which is absolutely insane. I don't know how it's going to work though, considering that the default setup for the Wii U is 1 gamepad and 4 Wii remotes. I have a feeling that they might be doing something where they've already announced that you can actually use the 3DS as a controller, so you might be able to use the Wii U gamepad, 4 Wii remotes, and then 3DSs maybe. I don't know how the setup's going to work, but the idea with this is that there will be a selection of stages that you can have 8 players on, so you won't be able to play 8 players on every single stage. The video even explains this, where they actually try to cram 8 people on this really small battlefield level, and they were like, yeah, this is way too chaotic, so we've got these much bigger levels where you can actually play up to 8 players on, which is absolutely crazy. The next thing they showed off was that they showed off this board game like thing, and they didn't really explain it terribly well, but there was 2 board game modes, one of which was the adventure mode, and the idea is you're like pawning off trophies and stuff. I didn't really get it, to be perfectly honest, but the idea was that you'd select a character that becomes a trophy, and then you're given there are trophies set in each corner of this board. You move your trophy to one lot, and then you can have like that would then trigger a battle, but like enemies can like enter in halfway through the battle or something. I didn't terribly understand that, but they showed this multiplayer mode, which is actually kind of interesting because it was like a Mario Party style deal, so or Me Party or whatever it's called, and you play as Mii's, and you go around this board game, kind of like just like Mario Party, and you actually collect trophies, and you collect stickers or equipment or whatever you like to call it in the game, which adds boosts to your characters. And the idea is that once you finish the board game, you then go into a Smash Brothers fight where you use your trophies as if they are your playable characters, and they will then get the stats from all the equipment and the stuff that you get during your time on the board game. So that's actually kind of interesting. The biggest thing that people are getting really hyped for is the fact that Mewtwo is now going to be a playable character in both the Wii U and the 3DS game. It was, people really wanted him to appear in the game. People were kind of disappointed when it turns out that he didn't. So what they're going to be doing here is that if you do actually go and purchase both the 3DS and the Wii U versions, later next year they'll be releasing Mewtwo as a free download. But do bear in mind that even though it's a free download, you have to own both Smash Brothers games to get it, and he will be released later on sometime in 2015. So moving on from that, last but not least, we have 3D Realms is actually going to be I was about to say going to, they have released this 3D Realms anthology. And this is really, really cool. This is basically just a big box of 3D Realms games. So you got the Commander Keen series, you got all the Duke Nukem games, including the 2D games. You've got the Wolfenstein, you've got Rise of the Triads. There's just so much good stuff in this. I'm really tempted to get hold of it. You can actually go onto the 3D Realms website and actually purchase this, and it's like $20 as well, and it is actually a boxed game, so that you will have to pay more than $20 to get it shipped out, but it just looks really, really cool. It just looks, I might actually go and grab this, because for $20 you're getting a lot. I mean, there's something like 30 games in this collection, so that's less than $1 for each game, so that is pretty impressive. And I'm pretty sure that Lazy Game Reviews will absolutely love this, although he probably owns every single one of those games. But yeah, that is my really, really long vlog for this week and last week and the weeks before then, which I haven't vlogged anything at all. So I'm going to try and keep up with the blogging. I've just been, again, with work, it's been super, super busy. Hopefully things, it hasn't been as busy compared to the last vlog, but it's been just busy in general, and I've found it very hard to keep up with the vlogs and the blogs and stuff like that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try and get a few other things done over the next week or two, and hopefully I can try and put up a blog maybe once a week or so up until Christmas, and then after Christmas things should slow down. I should then be able to do it more regular, like every other day or every other 2 days or something, and just try and get it, try and get more consistency in the blogging and reporting and stuff like that. So yeah, that's wow, I've almost done half an hour of this, so yeah, enjoy this big vlog, everyone.